Etsy has just added brand new controls to Etsy ads. And at first glance, this looks like one of the best updates they've made in a long time. It creates completely new ways to mess up a campaign that was already working, but it also creates new ways to succeed and to save bestsellers from killing all your profits. The settings are new, the rules underneath Etsy ads are not. And if you start choosing settings based on what sounds good rather than what is actually happening inside your campaign, you can quietly make your results worse without even realizing it. So before you touch any of these settings, there are a few things I want you to understand, because the most obvious choice may be the exact one that gets you into trouble. What's up guys, Dave here. Check the description for helpful links like the Etsy ad cheat sheet, my app Add to Cart that helps you calculate all of your Etsy ads numbers, as well as a free 10-minute call. Let's jump into it. So this is actually one of the most positive things I've heard from Etsy ads in a long time, if not the only positive update Etsy has made to their Etsy ad settings ever. So that's really awesome. I'm really happy about that. And I want to make these videos to help everybody understand these settings and to understand a few situations where it could hurt or it could help. But I want you to keep this in mind, okay? No matter what you choose, greater visibility is not automatically better just because it's pushing it out to more people. Lower click cost is not automatically more profitable just because it's charging you less per click. And efficient spending is not automatically efficient according to your actual margins. Your actual ROAS depends on your material costs, your shipping costs, and fees, not what is inside the Etsy ads dashboard. So keep that in mind. It only controls how the bidding algorithm acts towards your listings. What happens after that is completely dependent on the quality of your listings, your click-through rate, your conversion rate, things like that. So today, when I'm talking about each one of these objectives, I'm speaking about the individual listings settings for these objectives, because that's the entire change that we have now. Instead of a campaign objective, we can have different ad strategy objectives on each listing. So I'm not referring to campaign-wide strategy today. I'm talking about when, if, and what to do per these settings when you see certain things. So with greater visibility, Etsy says that it spends more to increase reach and help the listing appear more often. Etsy specifically suggests this setting for bestsellers, new launches, and major shopping periods, okay? So in my opinion, the best settings, or the best situation, to use greater visibility is, number one, it's a proven bestseller with strong profitability. If your ROAS is very high and you know that your profit margin is very high, then set that individual listing to greater visibility. Maybe you're on efficient spend and none of your high margin products are on greater visibility. Well, now with this new setting, you're able to do that. And that's a situation where I would recommend doing that if it's a bestseller or if it has a high ROAS or a high margin. If you have an ad that has been profitable for a long time, but it's a bit slow selling, it's another situation. This would give it that extra push that could make it sell more. But seriously, be careful, because only do this if you're willing to take the risk of it not working out, because changing it to this might simply break it. That's the biggest caveat to this whole situation with these new settings. Don't fix something that is not broken. If it's already selling, even if it's slow, but it's profitable and consistent, then if you don't want to mess it up and you don't want to get greedy, don't change it. But if you do and you're willing to take that risk, then you can change it to higher or greater visibility. You can always make a duplicate of that listing and try greater visibility on that one instead, which is another strategy in general, which we could cover when it comes to ads. If you have a bunch of listings that are doing decent on one setting, you can make duplicate of it, of all of them, and put it on a different setting. So another angle there. You want to make sure that your ROAS is completely above your break-even requirement if you're going to go with greater visibility and you're in this situation. Because if you're not sure, you could be losing money. And if you want to check, you can check out my app, AddToCartSEO. The calculator tells you everything you need to know. And another situation is anything, honestly, that you think could use a kick in the butt. Greater visibility will do that. It's the most aggressive ad setting. Another situation is seasonal listings entering its demand window. So anything going into a holiday season where that product is individually branded for that holiday. Even if it's not an explicitly Christmas listing, If you have Christmas tags all over it and you just listed it and you're going into Christmas, then yeah, put it on greater visibility. Or next situation would be a new duplicate of a proven product and you want to see what happens with it and your whole campaign's on efficient spend, well, pop it over to greater visibility. Great situation for that. Or if it's a new listing with strong external evidence, meaning this product already sold well on social media for you, customers requested it repeatedly, or similar versions, you've already done a bunch of product research and similar versions of this is new to your store, but not new to the market and already doing well in the market, pop it onto greater visibility and see how it does. That's situation one. When you should not use greater visibility is a listing that gets a lot of clicks but rarely converts. It's obvious in that situation. You would switch it over to something else. It barely ever gets clicks, period, even organically. A listing with irrelevant search traffic, meaning weird keywords in your ad data. A low margin product, I already kind of covered that because I said this is best for products with high margin. Or a listing with very limited inventory. You don't want to put this with that listing. You don't want to lose all your inventory quickly or waste a bunch of money. And even if you do sell it, not profit anything. A labor-intensive product when your production capacity is already full. If you're already maxed out with your team or by yourself, then don't put it on that one. Listings that are already consuming too much of the campaign budget, don't put it on greater visibility, which honestly is a rarer situation, but it does happen. My main warning for this setting, to put listings individually on this setting, is that greater visibility will definitely magnify what's already happening. So a strong listing is going to keep selling stronger, might lose a little bit profitability. Expect that to happen because you're going to be bidding and paying a little bit more aggressively for clicks. A weak listing may simply lose money faster. That's obvious. Or because this is new territory, like I said before, don't fix it if it's not broken. If you have something that's consistently selling and you're not willing to take the risk, don't pop this setting on just because. Just take what you got, make a duplicate, then put that duplicate on this setting. Guys, if you want to build your own standalone print-on-demand store, definitely check out OpoShop by EverBee. EverBee store has upgraded itself to include print partners, integrations, and a lot more. It has $627 worth of tools for just $29 a month. I checked it out myself and it seems pretty comprehensive. So if you want to check it out, try the link in my description. Next setting, efficient spending. What Etsy says it does is essentially takes a balanced approach between visibility and cost. Etsy treats it as the default strategy for listings that don't clearly belong in one of the other categories. And if you're under $25 a day, everything is going to be on efficient spending. That's the default campaign setting if you're not above $25 a day. So it is pay to play. It's $25 above. Then you can change all these settings. The best situation to use efficient spending is your average performing listings, quite obviously, but why is this not obvious? Because with the new settings, you might have your whole campaign on greater visibility and notice that nothing really moves unless the whole campaign is on greater visibility. But you have a lot of listings turning unprofitable than profitable, which happens a lot, which is better than nothing spending at all. If that's happening a lot, now you can put those individual listings on efficient spending. Either before it goes over your comfortable cost per conversion, that's how much money you're willing to spend per sale, or just right off the bat, okay? If they're already just spending decently with a profitable but not phenomenal ROAS, the main usage for this setting is if you want to be careful with your ROAS, okay? Another good usage for this setting on individual listings is stable evergreen products that you want to just chug along all year and not risk anything or risk less. Not strong or not weak products, kind of in between, or control listings during an experiment. If you want to put your whole campaign on efficient spending and then test other stuff with greater visibility or vice versa, it's a good situation. So keep that in mind. This gives you something to compare against rather than changing everything all at once, okay? Or if you're brand new to Etsy, you put your whole campaign on efficient spending, but that's a whole nother story. The best situation to turn an individual listing onto efficient spending is if your whole campaign's on greater visibility and you want to be careful with one set of products or not. Or if you have something that's spending a bunch and selling a bunch, but it's getting unprofitable, you hit it to efficient spending before it gets out of control. My main warning for this setting is it doesn't usually do a whole lot. Efficient spending usually chokes out the campaign. It chokes the spend no matter what. It's not going to bid as aggressively, period. It does not help scale, but it does not completely kill spending as strong as lower click cost does, okay? Only use this if you know why you're doing so, in my opinion. Efficient spending balances Etsy's ad costs and all the objectives. It's the middle ground, and honestly, it's a solid choice for a campaign-wide decision. But with all these new settings, you can do so much more. Lower click costs guides Etsy towards cheaper clicks. Obviously, it's in the title. Etsy warns that the listing may appear less frequently. Etsy recommends it for products with thinner margins or limited inventory where the seller wants to remain visible without spending as aggressively. All right. In my opinion, these are the best situations to use this setting on individual listings. Your bestsellers becoming too expensive. Like if you really, really want to hang on to a bestseller, meaning keep it on ads, but you don't want to let it go and turn it off, that's a great situation. Popular listing with weaker conversion, meaning you get a lot of clicks, a lot of window shoppers, and efficient spending can't even do it for you. So you turn it on that. Low margin products, obviously, limited inventory, or even like super limited inventory where it's one of a kind, where you only have a certain batch of it. One of a kind sellers have to be extremely, extremely careful because you can't just test products and test ad spend. If you bought something and you need a certain margin out of it, it's very possible to just spend it all away. And then when you do sell it, you still lost money. So lower click costs is honestly like the one-of-a-kind vintage seller default, in my opinion. Otherwise, you're really playing with fire there. Limited production capacity, similar for efficient spend. Expensive niche during a competitive season. This is really if you want to choke it out, but still have it on ads. This is the most super careful setting. So anything that this applies to, that's where you would put it. Mature listing with strong organic traffic, listing approaching your max comfortable cost per order or your stop threshold. If it's getting close to how much you're willing to spend for one sale and you don't want to turn it off after that, you could pop it on this setting, but you would have to catch it, meaning you would have to watch for it. That's why I recommend logging in and looking at your numbers at least every 3 days minimum, because I've been in student stores where hundreds of dollars have gone by without a sale. So it can be very scary. So you have to look at those numbers. Very, very important. When you should not use lower click cost. If you have a situation where there is a high margin with room to scale, don't use this setting. A seasonal product with only a short sales window, don't use this setting. A listing already receiving very few impressions, it's pointless to use in that situation. Listing with weak thumbnail, poor click-through rate, your problems are elsewhere in that situation. Or a listing that can't convert even after significant optimization, like you've tried a million things, you've duplicated it a ton of times, trying new pictures, new titles, new tags, everything. Just kill that product. Don't put it on lower click cost. Those are some obvious examples, but my main warning for this setting for individual listings is that cheaper clicks are not automatically better clicks. And it's not automatic profitability either. The cost per click might decrease, but impressions, click volume, orders, and your total profit for that listing is going to decrease. The goal is not merely to lower your cost per click, it's to improve the relationship between traffic costs and profitable orders. And if you choose this setting, whether it's on an individual listing or your campaign wide, I want to hear a dang good reason, okay? A very, very good reason why. It has to be a unique situation. Or it's just that you're extremely scared to spend money or you can't spend money. Those are the only excuses I'll take for this setting. This setting is a last resort, essentially. Use it as an in-between of turning off, yet still wanting to advertise that listing. But the biggest thing that I want you to consider out of all these settings, and the biggest thing to remember is, these settings give us a few extra options, right? But if your listings are already on the way out and they're already on the way out the door, The best option for bad performing individual listing ads is to turn that listing off. Turn that sucker off and forget about it. Make a duplicate, try again. Don't try to baby it into success. The 3 strategies here can create the impression that every listing deserves continued advertising, but it does not. Turning it off is still some of the best choices you can make. By keeping some alive, you may end up sucking up too much potential spend or actual spend. That's my biggest warning with all of these settings. So if you want to calculate your ROAS and really truly know it, check out Add to Cart. You can generate your numbers once per day for free, or the paid version is less than a Starbucks. So it's very affordable. I would love for you to try it out. Check the description for other helpful links, and I hope you have a beautiful day.